Good morning. This is Pastor Jeff. We're here for our daily lectionary readings. This is for Saturday, June 17th, 2023. We have our three readings. Once again, it's going to be Psalm 100 for our psalm reading. In the Old Testament, we're continuing in the book of Exodus. It is Exodus 6, verse 28 through chapter 7, verse 13. And then in the New Testament, it is going to be our gospel reading, which is Mark 7, 1 through 13. Today we're going to switch it up and do a version that I don't think we have done yet, the Legacy Standard Bible, Psalm 100. Make a loud shout to Yahweh, all the earth. Serve Yahweh with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that Yahweh, he is God. It is he who has made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, bless his name, for Yahweh is good. His loving kindness endures forever, and his faithfulness generation unto generation. Our Old Testament reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 6, starting in verse 28. Now it happened on the day when Yahweh spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, that Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, I am Yahweh. Speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that I am speaking to you. But Moses said before Yahweh, Behold, I am an uncircumcised lips. How then will Pharaoh listen to me? Then Yahweh said to Moses, See, I set you as God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron shall be your prophet. You shall speak all that I command you, and your brother Aaron shall speak to Pharaoh, and he let the sons of Israel go out of his land. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart and stiffen it, that I may multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not listen to you, and I will set my hand upon Egypt and bring out my host, my people, and the son of Israel from the land of Egypt by great judgments. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh when I stretch out my hand against Egypt and bring out the sons of Israel from their midst. So Moses and Aaron did it, as Yahweh commanded them. Thus they did. Now Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. And Yahweh spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh speaks to you, saying, Work a miraculous wonder, then you shall say to Aaron, Take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, that it may become a serpent. So Moses and Aaron came to Pharaoh, and thus they did as Yahweh had commanded. And Aaron threw his staff down before Pharaoh and his servant, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers, and they also, the magicians of Egypt, did the same thing with their secret arts. And each one threw down their staff, and they became serpents. But Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Yet Pharaoh's heart was hardened with strength, and he did not listen to them, as Yahweh had spoken. Our New Testament reading from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 7, verses 1 through 13. And the Pharisees and some of the scribes gathered around him when they had come from Jerusalem, and had seen that some of the disciples were eating bread with defiled hands, that is, unwashed. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they carefully wash their hands, thus observing the tradition of the elders. And when they come from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash themselves, and there are many other things which they receive in order to observe, such as the washing of cups and pitchers and copper pots. And the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, Why do your disciples not walk according to the tradition of the elders, but eat the bread with defiled hands. And he said to them, Rightly did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written, The people honor me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching as doctrines the commands of men. Leaving the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men. And he was saying them, You are good at setting aside the commandment of God in order to keep your tradition. For Moses said, Honor your father and mother, and he who speaks evil of father or mother is to be put to death. But you say, if a man says to his father and his mother, Whatever you might benefit from me is Corban, that is to say, given to God. You no longer leave him to do anything for his father or his mother, thus invalidating the word of God by your tradition, which you have handed down. And you do many things such as that. And here ends our readings for the day.